You've got the two schools here tonight that will be joining you. Can you just talk about kind of the value of having them in there? Obviously, the markets are huge, but just the two schools in general.
Yeah, I think, first of all, they're very good schools. Obviously, these, SMU is an outstanding university, and Houston's a great research institution. You're talking about two great schools, so we're delighted to have them. Two great presidents, Gerald Turner and Renu Couture, two really, up-and-coming athletic directors, and Rick Hart, and obviously Mac Rose, two of the best in our conference, two of the best in the country. Really terrific young guys. So everything's in place here. The thing about our conference now in football, we're going to have 4 time zones. So we can put a game on from noon to 2:30 in the morning, literally. We will have all the time zones. In addition, you mentioned markets. You're right. We have major markets. To have Texas, to have Dallas, and SMU is Dallas's team. To have Houston, to have 2 big Florida schools. They both have 50,000 students each in a rich recruiting area. And Florida is obviously just a big market, period, the whole state. And then to have San Diego State. And then, of course, you can't forget Boise because of what they've done and what they've meant. The Gonzaga of college football, really, in many respects. They'll help us a lot. The Big East in the past as a football conference was relatively small. 8 or 9 teams confined essentially to the Northeast. Obviously, West Virginia did some good things, and they've gone. But you've got some schools now that have done well recently, have made mark, and will make a much bigger mark in the conference. Also, you look at our core group, and Cincinnati and Louisville have had very good programs. And Cincinnati, when Brian Kelly was there, was almost in the top 4 one year. You're looking at what Butch Jones is doing there. At Rutgers is very important to us. Obviously, we're based. The conference office in the Northeast, and when you see what New York gets excited about Rutgers, they really do. And Rutgers is a very good team. I saw them play at USF. They're very good, and I think you're going to see some really good season-ending games this year in the Big East. I think will really help us. It is fortuitous that we're in the middle of a TV negotiation. We've got 3 of our teams in the top 20, and another one, Boise, in the top 25 that are joining. And Boise's program is clearly sustainable. But SMU, a great year last year. This year, you're getting better each game. I think this is going to be good for everyone.
Mike, if you go.
How much did the negotiations to keep the basketball tournament at Madison Square Garden, how much did that center around also keeping the ACC out of Madison Square Garden?
I was asked that at Media Day. Thank you. I was asked that at Media Day, but, in fact, I really didn't think about that. I wanted to make sure that the Big East was there. It's really important to be at the Garden. We'd heard some rumors potentially about, the ACC, but, in the end, the Big East has been there 30 years. It was just my goal to make sure we had a long-term extension that was acceptable to everyone. I knew the people at the Garden. I had done at CBS, I had done a lot of games at the Garden, set-up games involving Duke and other teams. So I knew the people at the Garden, and hit the ground running when I joined the conference. Made it a huge priority because you want to make sure we're there. And this is a big statement for the league. There's no question.
Mike, if you go with a 14 team, do you have a preference on Eastern or Western school, or is that?
I'm sorry.
If you went with the 14th school, do you have a preference on Eastern or Western?
No, we would just want the best school that fits academically and also athletically in the conference. Everybody speculated that it would be a Western, school. But again, what I promised to do is not talk about which schools we might, think about, and I think we'll probably get some calls down the road from some schools who want to join. I think our conference is very attractive to people, and we're doing very well. It's a good group of people, and it's a good group of coaches, it's a good group of players, student athletes, and I think you'll see some real excitement the next few years.
Could you envision a football-only school joining the conference, or do you limit it to a school that'll join in all sports?
I could see that. Yeah, as you know, the Western schools, San Diego State, Boise, joined in football only, and Navy, of course. Navy's basketball program wouldn't necessarily, wasn't really probably as good a fit for the conference. So Navy wanted to join in football. And the Western schools, and as you know, you play so many more games in basketball. It's the travel. At that point, the travel does become a real issue. So, it made sense when Boise and San Diego State came in that they would play, football. I could envision that, or I could envision a basketball, football school. But again, don't want to speculate too much. But at some point, you don't really want an unbalanced conference. You you want to make sure. And we'll have 12 teams, next year, 12 teams for a few years, so we'll be fine at that point. And then eventually Navy will join.
Does your agreement with SMU have any stipulations about future additions of other sports?
We really haven't talked about other sports. We're always open to talking about it, but at this point, the SMU will be a full member, and in terms of anything else, we'll talk. But they're going to be a full member.
But there's no requirement in place to add baseball or lacrosse or something like that.
No. I don't. We didn't impose any requirements. No. Whatever SMU decides to do, that would be up to them. But again, we're delighted to have them in all sports, and I think their basketball is going to really benefit too. With Larry Brown here now, and they'll build a program, and you get to play these Big East schools, and they come to your place, and you get to go up there, and you get to go to that tournament in Madison Square Garden. It just has to elevate your program. This has always been the case, and that's what happened when we had the other schools join in the mid-2000s. All of a sudden, we had the best basketball conference, I don't think with anybody question in the country, and I think we still do.